A big, warm welcome to you to this Yoga for Anxiety class. It's possible that if you have found your way here to this practice today, you're struggling with something or feeling that constriction or the sense of nausea that anxiousness can bring. And I'll offer to you that as we move through this practice today, perhaps we can rest in the hoop of humanity and the support of all who have felt these same feelings and sensations, of course, with different details, right? The way our human brain has evolved has been to be so future oriented. And it's in that future oriented place of what we call rehearsing that our anxiety lives. What I want to offer as we begin is the perspective of turning what if into what is. So if you think about the last thing that you felt highly anxious thoughts or feelings or emotions about, see if you can bring that to mind. That what if scenario. It was most likely rehearsing some outcome that we have no idea if it's going to happen or not. We're inserting details that we have manufactured in our mind. And can you turn the scenario into what is? What are the facts in this present moment that I'm in right now? As we turn toward answering the question, what is, we are turning our mind away from anxious feelings and thoughts, and we are turning our mind toward present moment experience. And in that place, may we find some freedom. And so, however you're seated, begin to consciously breathe. And for this practice today, I don't want you to manipulate the breath or even deepen the breath unless it happens naturally. But just breathe in your natural and normal rhythm. It's called your breath print, your unique and personal rhythm of breath. And without deepening the breath, just noticing how the breath moves inside the body. It's almost as though you are watching your body being breathed. And now, if you are not already seated on a prop, go ahead and sit on a block or a cushion and let the right arm hang heavy down by your side. Reach the left arm out and up and wrap it all the way around to the right side of your face, your head, your neck. I have my hands spread and I'm getting a gentle but firm grip here. And then press the back of your skull back a little bit into the forearm and into the hand. And a tiny bit gently pull the side of the head away from the shoulder. You can't do this wrong, and there's no real right way to do it. You're kind of exploring here how much pressure, what position, where you can find the sweetest release for the right side of the neck and the upper trapezius. And so as you breathe here, one of the main keys is to let that right shoulder be really heavy. Let gravity assist you. And just to make sure you're not pushing the head forward, but instead you're pushing the head back into the hand. And you can explore chin up or chin down. Once you get settled, close your eyes. Notice as you release tension here, we hold a lot of psychic tension in this area, meaning a tense body from overthinking, incessant thinking. And as this starts to release, do you feel a deep breath spontaneously arise? Maybe you need to roll the right shoulder up and back a few times. Can you lift your chest, lean back just a little bit? And then release the hand. Bring the hand to the left side of the head and just let the head be heavy in the hand. If possible, without using the neck muscles at all, press your head back to neutral. And then release both arms down and just pause here for a moment. Turn your head to the right and turn your head to the left. Bring your head back to neutral, switching sides. And so reaching the right arm out and up and holding really the side of the face. I have my fingers spread, so there's a good, decent touch. And more than anything, just dropping this free shoulder down, letting gravity support you here. Pushing the head back a little bit. And the encouragement of the right hand is so small. We don't want to be pulling the neck hardly at all into any position. It's more that we're creating a structure by pressing the head back, by holding the left side of the face, the neck, and really letting gravity and breath do the work here. And of course, you can bring the chin up and down, just kind of moving around, finding a good spot for you. Close your eyes. And just feeling that idea of all this psychic tension melting down the side of the neck, through the shoulder, down into the relaxed arm. Maybe even a visual of that dripping off the fingers, down into the earth. And can you lighten the pressure from the hand? Lift your chest. And then let's very carefully keep the head where it is, but release the hand now to the right side of the head and feel the weight of your head being held by the hand. Feel the left side of the neck relax as you hold the weight of the head. And then press your head back up to neutral. Release both arms down. Let them hang heavy. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to center and then roll the shoulders up and back a few times. And then do just one shoulder. So let's start with the left. Just the left shoulder rolls up and back. And then the right shoulder 3 times rolls up and back. All right. Coming off of your block, we're setting up for downward facing dog, but I want you to set up a little piece of sushi, if you will. So take your block on the low setting. I have mine long instead of wide. And then a folded up blanket goes on top of that. Here's your sushi. What we're doing with this setup as we come into downward facing dog is resting the crown of the head and then a little toward the hairline. So not the top of the head so much as top of head toward hairline, that sweet spot that grew together when you were a baby. And so if you can just kind of intuit where that might be, the soft spot that used to be there, that is still there in some sense energetically, that meeting point of the skull bones. And you might need to come down and raise the block or refold the blanket. I really encourage you to take time to care for yourself through this setup. And as you push down firmly into the hands, push down at the same time firmly into the balls of the feet, really feel that sense of ground. And let the breath begin to fill the body without forcing anything. Even if the breath isn't as full as you would like, that's okay. We are working with what is. Can you soften the skin on your face? Soften the space between the eyebrows. And you can feel free to hold here for several more breaths, or if you're ready to come down to the knees and bring the forehead to the blanket. Coming down into what's called puppy pose. And if you're still in downward facing dog, meet us down here, forehead to the blanket. Right in the center of the forehead is a very soothing spot in Chinese medicine, very balancing, very grounding. So whether the blanket is right there or it's simply resting the light of your attention right there. Now scoot your knees in and come into child's pose. I'm going to use my prop setup to turn my head to one side. You could bring forehead to the blanket if that was good for you. But as you come into child's pose, receive a few breaths, sensing the experience of how breath moves within the body. Now come all the way up. We will actually come to stand. You don't need any blocks for the moment. And as you come to stand, bring your feet about hips width apart. Bring your attention from mind, brain, forehead, all the way down through the body to the felt sense of your feet on the mat. The most brief mindfulness practice there is called 2 feet and 1 breath. And it can immediately turn you away from a challenging state of mind toward present moment experience. It goes like this. Place your attention down into the sole of your right foot. Place your attention down into the sole of your left foot. Then with your hand right at the center of your abdomen, receive a breath in. Let that breath go. As you inhale, take a seat, chair pose. Let's get into these bigger, stronger bones of the body, these real stabilizers, thigh bones, the pelvis, the hip joints. These bones in the body can hold anything and everything. And so as you sit a little lower, feel your feet on the ground. Hug all the muscles of the thighs, all the muscles of the hips into the bones and around the joints. Take another inhale, staying in chair. And as you exhale, push your feet into the ground, press your hands together in prayer, and create that inner resistance as you rise to stand. So we create energy by standing this way. Now inhale back down into chair. Sit a little lower this time. And as you exhale, push your feet down, push the hands together. One more time, inhale, chair. Sit a little lower this time. And really getting into the alertness and the stability of the legs as you slowly press to stand. Separate your feet a little wider. Bring your arms down and just sway a little bit side to side. Just unstructured movement. And then as you come through center, 2 feet, 1 breath. This time placing attention into left foot first, that connection of foot on the earth. Place your attention in connection of right foot to earth. Receive a breath in. Let the breath go. Sweep your arms out and up. Bring your hands into prayer. Keep lowering through chair, sinking down into squat. I'd like you to keep your chest lifted. So as you press your hands together, press your knees into elbows, elbows into knees, and elongate the back of the neck. Then place your hands on the ground, lift your hips, forward fold. If you need to straighten out the feet, please do. In this fold, let the head hang heavy. Let the skin on your cheeks soften so much it feels like they're moving toward the eyes. Let the muscles around the mouth relax. Feeling all of that psychic tension literally drip from the tops of the shoulders, through the neck, off the crown of the head, into the ground. Let's take one more breath here. And then coming all the way back down for a seat. Okay. So find your blanket, please. Notice how mine is folded pretty flat. Let's keep it like that today. Your head will be going toward the top of the mat. And so turn the blanket so the smooth folded edge is toward the top of the mat as well. As we get set up in this restorative back bend, if we come into this position and it stirs up intense feeling for you, uncomfortable, intense feeling, I want you to just lie back without the blanket. We're only here for about a minute, but this is not one to try to fight through discomfort or anything like that. And so turn around, and as you lie back, notice how the tops of my shoulders are on the blanket. I'm going to lift my hips up, slide my body back until the tops of my shoulders are actually on the mat, not the blanket. And in that place, my palms naturally rest open toward the ceiling, and I can tent my knees together. So see if this works for you. And if not, I'd like you to just scoot back down so you're not in the back bend. You can actually stay on the blanket, but just not so far back that you're bent. And if you're in that camp today, then you'll bring hand to belly, hand to rib cage, and just offer yourself some support, some soothing, some compassion. Like I said, 1 minute starts now. Can you allow the head to heavy, feeling that connection of back of head to the ground, and increase that connection by relaxation? Sense the back of the pelvis on the ground. Can you anchor with no effort into that connection? And then sense both feet on the ground without actively pressing. Can you connect to the out breath and that sense of letting go? And through that letting go, feel the feet heavy on the ground. So feet, back of pelvis, back of head. Inhale here. And feel those points relax into the ground. Turn yourself toward your right side. Rest there. And just feel your body lying on the ground, this present moment experience, the simplicity here. And then press yourself back to a seat, and you'll need your blocks and your bolster. So we're going to set up two blocks side by side at the foot of the mat. My blocks are about 4 inches apart. Bolster is going on top of that. If you don't have a bolster, you're using a pillow from the bed. Fold the blanket back just once so it's a tiny bit more thick, and pull it back. This is going to be for the rib cage, a little support for the ribs. As you lie down onto your front side, the tops of the feet rest on the bolster. And then reposition the blanket if you need to be right below your chest on the rib cage. Make a pillow with your forearms and rest your forehead. As you relax here, beginning to sense this deep calming. As we lie here on the front side, visceral organs are protected by the ground, front side of the body, the more vulnerable side, is shielded. And the nervous system receives this sense of protection as a signal to begin to steady, to begin to quiet. It's one of the ways we can address anxiety in the body without having to work through details of thought to talk about the story. We address it here by sending the signal to nervous system, to brain, that all is well, that I'm okay. We will rest here for 2 more full minutes to really allow this signal to soak in to the pathways inside. And so if you notice yourself starting to get lost in thought for the next couple of minutes, just turn your attention toward what you feel, contact points of body on the mat. So thighs on the ground, tops of feet on the bolster, forehead to the hands. All those contact points are places to anchor and ground anxious thought. Lift your feet up off of the cushion and just let your feet languidly flow side to side, circles or figure eights. Maybe exhale with a sigh of relief, release. And then please take your time, come all the way back to your seat, and we'll close with some breath work to complete the practice. And so sit in a way that feels comfortable and alert yet relaxed. Sit up on a block or a cushion if you like. We'll close with about a minute of left nostril breathing. Left nostril breathing is the moon energy in the body. It's reflective, it's calming, it's feminine. It's very soothing to an active mind. And so taking your right thumb, where you feel the hard cartilage end and the soft begin, just palpate a few times and put just enough pressure to close off the right passageway. You don't need any more pressure than that. It's a very gentle touch. And then simply start to breathe in and out through the left side only of your nose. You may deepen the breath, or you can stay with your natural pace of breath. Either one is fine. But as you breathe here for another 30, 45 seconds or so, just know that you are inviting a profound sense of ease into the mind, a signal of safety into the nervous system, and a sense of grounding into the body. Let's take 2 or 3 more rounds of this. And on your next exhale, release the right hand back down and nestle the back of the right hand in the palm of the left. Bring the tips of the thumbs to touch. As you move throughout this day and this week, can you reframe any situation away from what if and instead toward what is? That will be your practice in action. And I send you all the love and I wish you all the luck. Thank you so much for making it to your mat. Namaste.